Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, and today we're going to take a look at the tangle Fili from CZT, and I hope I pronounce this right, Yuenman Wong. It's an interesting tangle. Yeah, we'll just dig right into it, and also interesting. And you can read, the whole, story and information in the description section of the video, in the For More Inspiration link. I like that. Spoiler alert! Now you won't go look. No, yes you will, because you'll want to take a look at the tangle from Yuenman's hand, as well as her sample and stuff like that. All right. And the meaning behind Fili is dazzling day. So it's just cool. All right. Starts off with, and I'm going to do it on the angle to give myself a little bit more room. So just some little V shapes. And you can turn your tile if you wish. If you don't wish, that's okay. Ooh. And if it's a little off center, nothing matters. It's all good. And this you'll see in the end, the initial this initial step will also depend on how big you want it, whatever you're working on. All right, then now I needed to split up the next step. And so on top of all of these ends of these V's, we're going to do more V's. So some more little V's. Again, sometimes it's like, you don't have to always, something like this, don't always have to turn your tile. We like to turn our tiles, though. Let me explain. If you don't know, it's to keep our hand comfortable so that we don't have to contort things. You plant your hand, the heel of your hand here, you get this nice natural curve and you just move your paper. It's, I remember hearing an old, it's not really a joke, but just it was a sales thing. You hold the pen and I'll move the paper. So that's kind of what we do, in a sense. All right, so once you have all of those, then we're going to do some little tethered orbs or little flux shapes like that. Or you can think of it, because we're tethering it right here kind of in the center. And you know what? They can be a bit oval. They could be more round. Completely up to you. Like this one, I'm gonna extend those because I want to see that the little V parts coming out. So you can always touch that up. Okay. Then, and I think I combined, I took some things apart and then I combined some things because I needed to see it clearly so I could understand. So you'll see my version of the step out in that description section also. All right, next, we're going to do 3 lines coming out of each V, but leaving some space. So kind of one curving this way, one curving this way, one going up straight. And that's another reason. Take a look at the For More Inspiration link so you can see how she did it, and you might get a better idea. And that's all good. Okay, then little V's on the ends of these as well. I made all these kind of long. Well, in my step out, because I have a template that I use and I print out and then scan in. And so I have, wait. Oh no, it's smaller than this tile. I'm like, wait a minute, it's about this. No, it's not about the same. I do have one that's a little bit larger, and I half thought about it, but I was like towards the end, and I'm like, no, it works. It all looks good. All right, and then you guessed it, we're gonna put more of those little tethered orbs. I heard Maria call it that, and I'm like, I just love that because, it's almost like it's blowing a little bubble out here. Because it is an orb, but we're attaching it and coming back to that same point. And then two, I do, when I can, like to speak in, I call it Zentanglese, you know, in the language of the elemental strokes that Zentangle uses, just for consistency sake, and to draw things back that way. All right, so then we have this, and you know, I mean, this looks kind of cool as it is, but her next step is to aura this. Now this is where, for sure, go take a look, because I think it's more of a really tight aura. But take a look. I'm gonna do the best I can here. So I'm gonna start way down here. I don't think I'm gonna go as tight as what it looked like she was doing, but just kind of trying to get every contour that I can. And even, you know, those little the little V's that we've made, you know, and you know, to at least put a little bump there, even if you don't see it very well. What's neat sometimes about auraing is, even if I can't remember the name of the tangle. I probably have shut it out of my head because it's one of those that I'm like, oh, nemesis. But what I found was, if I was, I could kind of course correct with the aura. So, like, if I didn't get, I had, you know, little things that jotted out, and if I didn't get them, I wasn't happy with them, we'll say that. There's no such thing as a mistake there, you know, in Zentangle. I know that. But it just is like, this is not looking like what it's supposed to. But so I put, you know, a little bump in where, you know, it was supposed to jot out, and it helped. So that's why I'm saying it. So, and I would just say, just as far down as you can kind of get, and leaving, you know, you want to leave a gap, because we are going to shade within there. And then at the same time, as I'm saying that and thinking it, I'm like, you know what? You can do whatever you want to do. Because, you know, that's what we do in Zentangle. It's like, oh, well, that's the tangle. Okay. And as my friend and fellow Tangle addict Alyssa says, or she'll type in the chat, hashtag I do what I want. And that's it. We do what we want. And it's so fun, because then, you know, you might find something that you really like. Okay, let's see if I can fit that in there, because there was a neat pattern that, see the neat pattern that kind of emerges by tangling on the inside. If you can get in there. Now, something else that I'm going to look back as I'm talking, I'm going to look back. Because something else that you could think about doing, I'm not gonna, but, so like, for instance, if you wanted to put, you could put like an orb in here. So if you wanted to make this kind of hollowed out, like aura from the inside, you could do something like that if you wanted to. I kind of like it I'm just leaving it. All right. Now, again, so for shading, and I'm just following, the example, and I thought it was kind of neat in that it's like pick a direction, and I'm just going to put a little bit of graphite on the one side, and well, she kind of had it going on both, up to you however you want to approach that. Sometimes I just pick a side and I turn my towel. That's what I'm going to do for this one, because we like to make things easy. And I turn the towel and just putting it on the same side always. What did I do here? Oh, I did that there. So I'm putting it on the right side. Of the little, we'll call them stems. Because, you know, I haven't mentioned it in a long time. In Zentangle, we don't really concern ourselves with light source and all of that. Although you can. there's nothing to say that you can't, because that makes some things super neat, but you don't have to worry about it. I think it's good to know that. Because what we're just looking for the effect of putting some graphite down, and and so you can see how it's changing already a little bit. Oops, and let's get this here. And that's really what we're looking for, just to bring a little life. Oops, I didn't put anything there, but I've got enough left on my tortilla. I'm just gonna spread it as it goes. And I'm not necessarily being careful. I'm kind of, just taking it up-ish, and some of it's going inside the little tethered orb. I'm not worrying about it. Could too, because as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, ooh, I might just fill those in, because that could look cute too, and add some nice contrast. But it depends on what you're doing and what you're looking for, and what you're pairing this with, if anything. All right, it's neat. I like it, and adding this shading definitely helps. This was one I was thinking, I'm like, oh, I don't know about this, and I let it sit on my table for a little bit, and I came back and looked, I'm like, oh, that turned out neat, because sometimes you have to do that. Just let it sit, don't look at it for a bit, come back, and it can look amazing. All right, I think I'm debating on that. I'm gonna leave it as it is, because that's that's kind of the way she has it. It looks like in her step 6, like I see some red, but I don't know. I can't make it big enough to see what that is. Well, let me see if I can make it bigger. Yeah, I can't tell. She's got something inside the little ornament, and maybe it's just denoting graphite. So I'm just gonna put the graphite like on half of it, so you could carry that up and just kind of do that. I'm just going to make sure it is there. And oh, look I missed that one. Somebody was probably yelling at the screen. You missed one. Thank you. Okay. Oops. And even if you cover the whole thing, it's all right. Yeah. It's just interesting. It's really, really neat. All right. So if you enjoyed this, and I hope you did, please click the like button. If you liked it enough to see more, please click to subscribe to the channel. I appreciate that. Feel free to leave comments, share it, all of that stuff. I appreciate any and all of those activities, as it supposedly helps the algorithm. I have not I just hear that. I've not dug too far into all of that, because I'm going to do this anyway. and but it is kind of nice. It spreads the word. Or it tells, the channel it tells the computer to spread the word. So I appreciate that. In that description section, I mentioned the links to the step outs. You can also connect with me if you wish. I have a link to my website, my Facebook page, so you can follow me there. I do classes twice weekly, and if you follow me if you happen to be on Facebook, if you're not on Facebook, there are a couple other places you can follow me. So when I post things, you can follow my blog. I'm just not real good yet at posting when I have classes on my blog. It doesn't make any sense, but it does at the same time. As I spend time posting all of these other places. Oh yeah, I should do that too. So anyway, and that because I don't really have a way to register people. So anyway, and that way you get a reminder. I'll get that sorted out someday. But Tuesdays and Thursdays, my time, I'm here in Michigan, and so that's Eastern time. And that's the other reason I like to use these other services, because when you look at the time, it's showing it in your time zone. You don't have to calculate anything, and it makes it a little bit easier. So if feel free to follow me at any of those places. And then also, if you are looking to connect with other tanglers, we have a private Tangle Addicts Facebook group. It's absolutely amazing. The people make it. And so we have this absolutely amazing group of tanglers. And it's so much fun. It's so supportive. And we want to see everybody's work. We don't care what you think it looks like. We'll be the judge of whether it's joking whether it's good or not, and it's always good. But we have people that come from different, different, obviously, walks of life, different challenges, different struggles, physical struggles. And, we want to see what everybody does, because we want to celebrate in your successes. Zentangle is so much more than just, pretty patterns that we put on a page. It goes so much deeper than that. And so we embrace that as best we can. All right, so there is that. And I think that's it. So thank you so much for watching. And I wish you happy tangling.